In January 2011, Tajikistan ratified a border agreement with China, ceding approximately 1,100 square kilometers of territory located in the eastern Pamir Mountains. This agreement marked the culmination of a dispute that had persisted for over a century and had its roots in imperial-era border definitions. The region in question is part of the Gorno-Badakhshan Autonomous Region, bordering China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The decision was described as quiet because it received limited media attention, both domestically and internationally, despite its geopolitical significance. The origins of the dispute date back to the late 19th century. During this period, the Russian Empire and the Qing dynasty were defining their spheres of influence in Central Asia. The Pamir Mountains, known as the roof of the world, though were strategically significant due to their high-altitude passes and location at the intersection of multiple empires. The southernmost part of the China-Russia frontier remained undefined, largely because the Qing dynasty had limited administrative control in these remote areas, and Russian surveyors had only partially mapped the region. Additionally, the ongoing rivalry between Britain and Russia for influence in Central Asia, known as the Great Game, complicated precise demarcation. Afghanistan was eventually designated as a buffer state, and its Wakhan Corridor was established in 1895 to separate Russian and British territories. However, China was not a direct party to these arrangements, leaving a section of the border unresolved. When Tajikistan gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, it inherited a segment of the Soviet-Chinese frontier. The border largely followed natural features such as drainage divides between river basins, but the precise delineation was unclear. The terrain is extremely rugged, sparsely populated, and characterized by high mountain passes, glaciers, and valleys, making administration and surveying difficult. These factors contributed to continued uncertainty over the exact alignment of the border, which in turn created the potential for disputes. Formal discussions between Tajikistan and China began in 1999 with the goal of resolving the border issues peacefully. These negotiations were prolonged and complex, reflecting both the geographic challenges of the region and the sensitivities involved in ceding sovereign territory. In 2002, the countries reached a supplementary agreement that laid the foundation for the final ratification in 2011. Under the terms of the accord, Tajikistan ceded 1,122 square kilometers of disputed land, approximately 4% of the contested area. In exchange, China renounced claims to the remaining 96%, effectively resolving the dispute. The agreement was ratified by Tajikistan's parliament with overwhelming support. Only 2 members voted against it, indicating broad governmental consensus on the importance of a settled border with China. The ceded territory is largely uninhabited, though some semi-nomadic communities historically used parts of the area for grazing. Public reactions in Tajikistan were mixed. Some analysts and citizens viewed the transfer as a pragmatic solution to a long-standing diplomatic problem, emphasizing the benefits of stable relations with a powerful neighbor. Others expressed concern that ceding land, even sparsely populated, represented a loss of sovereignty and set a precedent for future negotiations. Despite these concerns, the government maintained that the agreement strengthened Tajikistan's international standing and ensured long-term border security. From China's perspective, the 2011 agreement was strategically significant. It resolved one of the last remaining border disputes with its Central Asian neighbors, reinforcing diplomatic relations and demonstrating a willingness to settle historical disagreements through negotiation rather than conflict. The settlement also allowed China to consolidate control over the eastern Pamirs, a region important for both security and regional connectivity. The Tajikistan-China border agreement of 2011 illustrates how long-standing territorial disputes can be addressed through careful negotiation and compromise. It underscores the role of geography, history, and diplomacy in shaping modern borders. While controversial for some, the transfer of 1,100 square kilometers ultimately facilitated regional stability and provided a clear framework for managing relations between neighboring countries. The decision remains a case study in balancing national sovereignty with the practicalities of international diplomacy, highlighting the complex considerations that small states face when negotiating with more powerful neighbors.